Hey, this is Skullgirdle, and welcome to Undead Conversations with the one member of Push Button Press, Jim Walker, who was able to get up today before 2 p.m.
Yes, they.
Yeah, so they were all invited multiple times,
and they all agreed to come, and they were all excited to come.
Oh.
And they're all hungover.
We should trash talk them. They're hungover?
I'm
like way fucking older than they are. I'm not hungover.
They're hungover. They're
What
all
did they
hungover.
drink? Did they mix their booze?
Probably.
Yeah, I just drank like grapefruit vodka, which I know sounds wussy, but they were full lit at that bar last night.
Yeah, I'm glad there was no whiskey in the back.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
All
I don't drink whiskey.
all
Would you have had a problem?
Yeah, because I don't have an off button when it comes to whiskey.
Oh, well, I think there will be there tonight, and if you go to the castle party for sure.
Oh, I know.
Because we're gonna meet and Cadaver Kelly, another YouTuber.
I
met
saw
her. Her husband Jim. We're the absinthe drinkers of the group. So I'm like, oh god, there's three of us. Oh hell yeah, there's three of us. So we're gonna go there afterwards, and once I get that taste, once it's in my perfect space, I'm just sipping it nonstop, and before I know it, I've drank it in half the time as everybody else, and that is unlike me until we get to the absinthe.
The absinthe.
Right. Okay. So if you want to look at the camera, look at the word canon. If you decide,
okay.
You don't ever have to look at the camera.
Okay.
Remember, we really are underground.
Okay.
Because I'm just some asshole who started asking people if they wanted interviews, and they keep saying yes because I just asked Assemblage 23 in the lobby of our hotel.
And did you
And
know?
now I have to go listen to their entire catalog.
And
like over again. Oh
but
my
if
god.
you want to listen to their entire catalog, you have to make sure to listen to the Push Button Press Assemblage 23 remix of our song Foretold.
Did it. Yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I've listened to your entire catalog that I can get to on Bandcamp because I'm not putting SoundCloud or whatever the fuck that is on my phone.
He did an excellent remix. Very
he did
EDM.
a great job. He did it, but yes, y'all, I do research this. I actually listen to everybody's music because I interview people that I like. And I have to say, you guys were so good last night. It was such a great show. But the thing that was unexpected, like knowing Jet, and you guys can't see him, he's the guy with like the little mohawk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talking to him that he's probably going to have some pretty good stage presence. Right?
Yeah.
You know, he's affable,
extrovert,
he's
right?
hilarious, he's so much fun. But your stage presence was almost shocking because it was so good and you were so into the audience, and the exchange between you and the audience was fantastic. And I was wishing that I was in the front instead of watching from the side. I posted some clips and stuff on the side, but it was surprising.
Yeah.
It was just really surprising, and I love to be surprised in such a fantastic way. So excellent stage presence.
I wish I could remember what I was doing so I can do it again. Because when it all starts, I blank out. I don't remember hardly any of it.
Oh, you check out.
There
were a lot of musicians last night that checked out.
Yeah.
Like they were gone. They were tranced out to whatever they were doing. Every single band was fantastic.
If you look at the videos, I do these finger things,
Yes, you did.
and I don't know what I'm doing.
That's I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, so there you go. There are finger things.
Finger things.
But there's actually 4 people in Push Button Press. Will you tell us who everybody is in Push Button Press? Because
okay,
normally I have people introduce themselves. But...
It's me. I'm Jim Walker, right? And we have Jet, who is the synthesizer player, and then I have Max Sisk, who is my bass player. Who actually, me and him started doing music together in the 80s.
Wow.
We had one of the first goth bands in Tampa ever.
Oh my god.
Called Idle Rude, R-O-O-D, like a crucifix.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of Joy Division meets the Misfits.
Oh, I'm so surprised about the Joy Division influence. We'll get to that later, y'all.
And then I have Sean Watkins, who is this punk drummer who is just like a firecracker.
Oh yeah, he was fantastic.
He's just fantastic, and he adds that perfect blend of you get this perfect blend of the synths with the driving bass and the hard-hitting drums, and then the hopefully emotional and intense vocals and guitar playing.
No, they were intense.
And that all blending together is hopefully what we're striving for.
Right. Well, because no matter how good each individual artist is in a band, it takes the whole band to make it work. I don't care if people think it's all about the front person, the singer or the guitar player. People get all head up in that. But if you don't have a good drummer, you're fucked. if you don't have a good bassist, you're still fucked because
Right.
that is your foundation.
Yeah.
And they will lift you up, and especially in post-punk, the
Right.
bass gets very important because it takes over the melody lines, and
Right.
people don't even realize they're hearing that.
Right.
So I thought, yeah, the blend was really, really great.
Yeah.
It sounded really good. It came together. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, months of work.
Because y'all have been talking for a while, so
We
we're
have.
kind of friends.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
And oh my God, thank you for getting the interview. Thank you for just
course.
agreeing. Well, I'm always shocked when somebody agrees. And then I'm always shocked with, quite honestly, a lot of the people I talk to, the humility that the musicians have. And this is why I'm just going to preach again, because y'all are never going to not preach this. Go up and tell the musicians how good they are. Buy their fucking t-shirts. Buy the merchandise at the show. It helps support them. When you listen to them on Bandcamp, they make the most. SoundCloud, you make like a millionth of a penny for every 400 plays.
You don't make anything on SoundCloud.
Right.
Unless you click on the buy link.
Right. And YouTube, the channels are too small to be monetized. So Bandcamp is really... somebody's phone is ringing. Okay, we're back. We had some drama ensued. Push Button Press is generously sharing their equipment with some other bands. There's soundcheck, blah, 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 blah. It's all taken care of. Courier's on the way.
And there's Jet.
And now Jet's calling, finally.
Oh, no, let's put him on speaker. Hey, Jet. You're on speaker, and I'm here with Skullgirdle.
Hey.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
You just woke up. Oh, well, you're doing the interview with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll pain hug you later.
No, let me come down there. How long are you guys going to be around?
We gotta hurry.
We gotta hurry, man. They're sound checking for the next show. The back line is going. Darla's taking the back line there right now.
Yeah, I gotta get ready. I gotta get back to my hotel, and I need about an hour to get ready. How you feeling? You ready for Absinthe at the castle later?
Yes, I am, actually. I can't wait for that.
I know, I'm so excited.
Yeah, so am I.
We're gonna finish this up, man. Well, I'll see you tonight.
Alright, man. I'll see you there.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Chad. All right, we're back. Now we've just had another slight drama. It's okay. These guys are really supportive of Communion After Dark, which is the host. Are they the
Communion
host?
After Dark, yeah, and Indoxa Booking. They're the two people who put on
Right,
the event.
Indoxa for Absolution Fest, which is where we are. If I didn't announce it before, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, so before I forget, let's talk about the song "Dream of Fire."
Yes.
I'm laughing because Jim just reminded me about it.
Yeah.
Because I told him I wanted to ask and I forgot because I am me.
Because the song has an obvious reference, but that obvious reference isn't necessarily the actual reference.
He did this while he was singing "Put It in My Arm," y'all.
They put the dream in my arm is the actual line.
Right.
They put the dream in my arm. Who would take it that far and never ask if it's wrong or know who they are? They put the dream in my arm. They put the dream in my arm.
So what's the reference? Because I don't get obvious apparently.
There's three references. It's a combination of three things.
So on layers, I'm interested.
The first dream is the American dream.
Oh Jesus. Yep.
They put the dream in my arm.
For those of you in Europe, as people who live in the U.S., we are indoctrinated from birth to think that we live in the best country in the whole world and that everybody wants to be us. And we are indoctrinated. We say that pledge every single fucking day in school. And in Texas, we also say the Texas pledge every single fucking day in school.
Right.
We all know not just our national anthem, but like 10 songs about how great America is. And we are heavily indoctrinated from birth. Still.
So when they put the dream in my arm,
Yes.
But then there was a third reference. I felt ill a few years back and almost passed. And I was on a feeding tube for quite some time.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay. When you said ill, I thought you meant when Trump was elected.
Yeah, then too, but...
Were you on a feeding tube?
But no, I was on a feeding tube.
No, that's tough.
And I was in the hospital, and this thing was in me, and there's that. And then there's, of course, the obvious reference of intravenous drug users who have known and have passed.
Right.
And it's sort of a combination of all three of those things into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So a little layer or two.
I like to do that in my lyrics. I don't like there to be, if you read it and you see one obvious reference, if you look a little bit deeper, there's usually a hint that there's a second one. Sometimes maybe even a third. really proud of my writing.
You should be.
Was heavily influenced by T.S. Eliot, and also, believe it or not, Shakespeare. If I ever get stuck for writing, I pick up Shakespeare and I start to read, and I'll get about a page and a half through, and I immediately throw it down. I pick up a pen and I start to write.
What do you read? Are you reading the sonnets?
I'll read actually Hamlet usually.
Really? Yeah, let's go for some light.
Right,
light
but it doesn't
reading.
take long. I mean, it really doesn't take long. Once you start reading this stuff, and it changes your mindset.
You think it's that iambic pentameter, just kind of putting
Right,
your brain
right.
in the rhythm that gets
you
to
in that
lyrics?
rhythm, and then all of a sudden, all you have to do is just pick up the pen and go. You know, and if you get stuck, it's a great way.
Yeah, I love that inspiration so much I can barely tell you. Because a lot of musicians read, and y'all read a shitload.
And I'm also heavily influenced by philosophy. I'm a servant amateur philosopher.
Share. Who's your favorites?
Being in Time by Martin Heidegger, which is about existence. Because existence is what it is to be.
Right.
With a capital B, not a little b. And also, I'm going to say it wrong, Jean Baudrillard.
Oh, Baudrillard.
Who wrote several books. The most famous one was Simulation Simulacra.
Baudrillard did a Cool Summer.
Right.
Cool Summer,
and,
right.
And his whole idea of spectacle, and also the Society of the Spectacle by Guy Biord, and this whole situationalist movement where what's the best way to put this, because it's such an interesting topic, that society has reduced itself into a copy. So everything becomes a copy of a copy, and eventually there's no original, because everything is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, right? And this whole concept of society being just a big spectacle, rather than it being actual authentic, and that eventually the authentic vanishes, and what you're left with is just the Xerox of the Xerox of the Xerox.
And so then it becomes a rebellious act just to not be a Xerox of a Xerox of a Xerox.
But according to Baudrillard, though, and I'm saying I agree with him, but according to him, you can't get back to the original, because it's almost as though somebody made
but you can make a new original.
You could make a new original.
Maybe not according to Baudrillard.
But maybe not according to him. Like his one of his good analogies was that it'd be as though somebody made a map of the world that was the exact same size as the world, and then the world vanishes out from underneath the map that was this actual world.
Jesus, that's going to keep me up at night. Yeah, I'm going to start thinking about this at night, and I'm going to be like, damn you, Jim. And I'm going to text you, and I hope your phone goes ding, ding, ding.
So these are like two of my big things lyrically, or basically I like to do things. That's why it's Spectacle 1.
Right.
And there will be a Spectacle 2. There may be a Spectacle 3.
Really?
Yeah, there may be.
I'm so excited.
But unfortunately on Spectacle 1, I really didn't get to write very much about Spectacle. So.
Yeah, well, guess what? You're not dead yet.
Not dead yet, no.
Right. Been through a lot. Still not dead. It's not over till you're dead.
It's not.
And probably not then for some people.
It never is. And one of the other things I like to write about is climate change.
Oh yeah, that I knew. That I knew. And you know what? The more lyrics and the more modern goth music I'm reading the lyrics for, the more climate change is in there. Because it sounds like Winter does heavily climate change and political and philosophy, literature, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and they're not the only ones. I read something recently, and it wasn't Push Button Press or Sounds Like Winter. That was climate change. And I was like, okay, this is so fucking obvious. It's climate change. I've seen statements on Bandcamp that say they're writing about climate change. Right. And I'm like,
it needs to permeate art, because in order for us to really be able to get grips, which...
Well, change starts frequently in art. In the arts. It starts in the arts and philosophy.
Right.
And yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah, it's important. And the sad part is that I'm not convinced that there is actually a solution. So I haven't heard any good, comforting solutions that are practical. And that's the sad part. Like the song Dim that I performed last night. Dim is about a paradox. And one of the paradoxes is that we pollute. And as we pollute, we put particles in the air. Right? And these particles reflect sunlight back into space and cool the earth. So if you stop emitting, these particles fall to the earth and you heat the planet faster. So if you pollute, you heat the earth. If you stop, you heat the earth.
Yeah, I'm never sleeping again.
This is a very positive and...
Yeah, I'm going to go home and read some Anais Nin and just forget about all this.
Sorry. Don't mean to be a Debbie Downer.
No, you're not. Honestly, you're not a Debbie Downer. You're not a Debbie Downer at all. It's good to see that people think and how deeply they think and where that process comes from. And what comes from behind the music, because we don't really get to see that. And we sure as fuck don't get to see it for contemporary goth, post-punk, goth genre artists.
Right.
And that's like the whole point of these interviews is to take a long format, talk about shit that's not specifically this track sounds like da da da, and you're not talking about the sonic landscape. You're talking about the thoughts behind it.
Right.
And it's really interesting to hear that because a lot of goth musicians are not just being like, I listen to all this goth all the time and I'm going to write about vampires. Some are, and they make great music. I mean, we know that because we've been listening to them. But we also have people who are trying to elicit change, positive change. And so not all goth is about death and dying. Yes, that's there, and yes, we enjoy that too. Yeah. But a lot of it is actually kind of hopeful, because you're talking about climate change, and your hope is that it gets to more people to hear it, and they think about it more. Because I agree, there's not a single solution. It needs to be like a huge multi-part plan.
Like
I mean, why are we not pulling the
project, like huge?
Yeah,
like
why are we not pulling
scale.
the flotilla out of the ocean and making fucking building materials with it for our houses?
Yeah, why are we
we have that technology.
The song Thaw, that's another one. The thaw is about the thawing of the permafrost.
Yeah, I know it.
And when that happens, the methane rises into the sky, and methane is 35 times more of a greenhouse gas than CO2.
Cow farts, y'all. If you don't know where our largest methane, we eat too much meat.
And if that permafrost melts, all of the dead animals that are frozen in that permafrost, it could be. What I read once was that the methane that could be released in one burst could be more greenhouse gas than has ever been emitted in the history of the Industrial Revolution, and it could happen in days.
Okay.
Once again,
I'm just like, shit, did I have a question lined up? I don't even know what's happening anymore.
But guys, honestly, the music is still like the most important thing, but the message, what you're saying, if you don't have something to say, you shouldn't be on the stage.
And pay attention to the lyrics. When you like something, pay attention to the lyrics. I'm an album listener. I want to hear your story from start to finish. Even if somebody's just putting together a collection of songs, which of course is an album, they're putting together a collection of songs that they think are not related, they still are.
They still are. Because
they're still made by the same artists. And then there's some artists that do a start to finish and it's a full story, like Barren Land by Long Night. Yeah. Have you ever listened to that? That is one of my favorite recent albums because of the storytelling that's in it and what they're talking about. It's like on an epic scale. So an album, to me, it's the story. It may just be the story of the band. It may just be the story of writing those songs or what's happening at that time.
But if it's coming from there, and honest and authentic.
Right, and this is the thing with LPs. Because my hotel room yesterday, I had an LP player in there. And all I played was Neil Diamond and and Stevie Wonder, because it was all old, a lot of country, and then Stevie Wonder, of course.
Someone told me last night that I looked like a guy from Canned Heat.
The movie?
No, the band.
Oh, y'all, who the fuck is Canned Heat?
I don't know.
Oh, shit.
But I have to go look it up now.
Your hair's flopping over a little bit like a skater boy from the 90s. If it was curly and you looked dumb, then it would look like a skater boy from the 90s. I like it. I'm growing out my undercut, though, because everybody has them now.
I've had the same haircut since I was 18.
Really?
It's gone in and out of style.
Don't go changing to try and please me.
It's gone in and out of style like 4 or 5 times.
It has.
It was in style like about 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's starting to go out of style again.
Right. So does it not bother you when dude bros have your haircut?
No.
Oh, y'all, dude bros are those guys who are like, yeah, America, yeah, blah. And they paint themselves blue at American football games.
Right. And I just think to myself, in 3 years, you won't have that haircut anymore.
That's true. That's true. I like to change my hair a lot, apparently.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's a character on my channel and it's unintentional. I love to make new friends, but what I love more than making new friends is to deepen those friendships and to talk about deep, meaningful subjects. And to me, these are deep, meaningful subjects. I mean, yes, I'm actually quite good at small talk, and I can, when somebody's freaking out, if they need to just hear random chatter, I can do that. I talk a lot. I talk all the time, so that kind of works out for me. But you know, it's just like basic daily stuff. So to get to have a good, deep conversation that has meaning, especially to everybody in the conversation, is such a treat because we're brought up now where we don't do that.
Right.
In the U.S. I hope in other countries you guys have more of that. But here, we're like fucking all online. I personally don't have commercials. I pay for my YouTube. Yes,
Right.
some of us do. I pay for my Netflix. And I was somewhere where I was going to watch TV because reading was, you know, I was all like, ugh, on painkillers, and reading was too much.
Right.
I wound up playing Sudoku because I turned on the TV for 15 minutes. Commercials came on and I got so angry I had to turn it off. And that's kind of a lot of us here.
Yeah.
Don't you think? There's those of us who are like, I call them the basics,
Mm-hmm.
who just like what society and
Oh yeah.
the Kardashians, because
Right.
if it has the word Kardashian or Jenner on it, I will break my finger changing whatever media it's on.
I try to be positive about those type of people, and I try to think the best, and try to think that perhaps they have something else that they're doing that is so involved and engrossed that they don't have time to put the energy in to find anything better than the Kardashians.
But I don't have to watch them.
But I don't have to watch them.
Right. I would rather
But
spend my time doing something
So,
else, like
well-
watching the 15th travel video about Vienna, Austria.
or I must say this. All right, I also have a soft spot for UFOs and Bigfoot shows. Now I know I
Really?
don't. I of course I'm not a UFO Bigfoot believer per se. I mean, I think it's fun to talk about, and I think it's fun to think about, and also archaeology and.
You don't think Bigfoot
anthropology.
that is just Bigfoot's just smarter than us and isn't getting caught? Because I know someone who actually believes that Bigfoot is walking between gates of dimensions,
I've
and
heard
that's
this
why we
too.
can't catch him.
That's why I've heard this also.
And well, I'd never heard it except when I heard it from her, and I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, well, I'm not going to discount that theory because I don't know. I don't. I'm not going to discount anybody's theory because I ultimately don't know,
Right.
and it may not be my theory, but you know they could
I
be right.
still love all the shows. They're fun to watch.
I used to watch a lot of haunting shows until I realized that the people on them were just scaring themselves. And if they're not charming enough and they're scaring themselves, I just want to punch them. There's that one. He's like a dude, bro, and he's got his glasses are a little bit like yours, but he's
Right,
got
right.
his little faux hawk looking dark haired
Oh, yeah,
thing,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
made
yeah.
a movie. Oh god, that guy's so fucking fake. I can't stand him. But you know, you got to give him benefit of the doubt. Maybe he has no idea that he's.
Those are one of my
Comes
guilty
across
pleasures.
that.
Everybody's got to have a guilty pleasure.
We do. I'm trying to think of what my guilty pleasure is. Well, I'm off it now, but beauty channel drama on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to
I
think
think
of.
so.
I've been watching ancient instruments on museum channels, like the Victorian Albert. I've been watching like there's a guy who has like a Grecian lyre and a Sumerian lyre, and they are so interesting. They sound like nothing we have now.
Did you ever hear the Neanderthal flute?
I don't know. I've heard a lot of ancient flutes.
Now, I'm not sure if it's legit, but they believe they found a 75,000-year-old, 65,000
40,000-year-old.
40,000-year-old flute
Bone flute.
that was
And
made,
a flute would be the instrument that would be that old.
and they believe it was made by Neanderthals because it was found around
Right,
the
not
Neanderthal stuff.
Cro-Mags?
Yeah, exactly. So, and they perhaps had art. Wouldn't that be amazing? That's
I
another-
find it egotistical to think that they didn't.
Right.
Just like there's all this study, all this like scientific study that your dogs have feelings and thoughts, and I was like, any dog lover or cat lover
Knows.
or fucking bird lover or snake lover knows that just because they're a different form and they may think differently than us and
Right.
communicate differently, they feel. People are like, oh, I feel. I was like an octopus. I don't like octopus.
They're
I
extremely
don't.
intelligent.
Octopus have 9 brains. They have the big gluey booger head brain,
Right.
and then they have one in each prehensile. What would you call it?
Tentacle,
Appendage,
yeah,
tentacle
tentacle.
that also can taste you.
Right.
And so even if I didn't, the only times I've ever eaten octopus, y'all, I always get suckers. So I have a mouthful of rubber that I have to swallow in one big gulp. But even now, I was like, I will never eat another octopus because I personally think that they're probably the smartest animal on Earth.
I think they're one of the smartest animals on Earth.
Yeah, they are so interesting.
I saw this one thing where
freaky.
They had octopus in a octopi.
Okay.
In one tank, and they had crabs in another one, and this octopus would come out of the tank, go onto the floor, crawl across the floor, crawl up the other, crawl inside, eat the crabs, come back out, go across the floor, crawl back up, and get back into his other cage.
Yeah, because they have all these suckers, and the whole time he's like tasting every single thing that we've been doing. The idea that we are the only intelligent life on this planet is ridiculous. And I think at some point they maybe start to figure out how plants think, feel, what they do, even though they're more stationary. Because I'm one of those...
And maybe it all just happens slower.
Well, yeah.
You know
I think with trees...
it's just a slower thing. We're faster.
Right.
Maybe they think and feel in a slower way.
Right, but they're still part of the ecosystem. So I don't really see... And I understand... ethical vegetarianism, I understand it. I understand you don't want to eat a fuzzy little cute animal.
Right.
But at the same time, when you're eating a carrot, you're taking its whole life.
Yeah. And
it's not the same as milking a cow. I'm not saying either is better or worse. To me, they are actually very similar. And it's because we literally don't understand plants. We don't know if they would have something that does work like nerves for them, or if they're communicating in different ways.
And this may be all put off some people, but I honestly believe that if you're not willing to take the animal's life to eat it, you shouldn't be eating meat.
Do you hunt?
I don't hunt currently, but I have hunted before, and I would be willing to do it. Mm-hmm. So if I had to, I would.
Right.
Right, and I wouldn't. What am I trying to say? It wouldn't have a bad conscience about it, because I couldn't ethically go into a store or go into a restaurant and eat meat if I wasn't willing to do that. For me, that seems like I'd be a hypocrite. If I wouldn't be willing to take the animal's life and give thank you to the animal for it, then what business do I have be eating meat in the first place?
Right. I have actually gutted and scaled fish.
Yes,
multiple
me too.
times.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And you know what? It's gross. And the worst part is when you don't get all the scales and you cook it. But yeah, thank the animal. Like if I cut a little twig off my rosemary out front, I have a rosemary called Rosie the Rosemary.
Yeah, thank you.
And I thank Rosie for that bit of twig, and then I sniff it and pretty much have an ecstatic journey into the house before I use it.
It smells amazing.
Oh my god, fresh rosemary smells so good. It's got this warm, soft smell that it doesn't come through in food when you cook with it, but the smell is so comforting.
Lavender's my favorite smell.
Oh, me too.
Is it really?
It is. Well, and green tea.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back and forth between the two of those. Yeah, I always look for organic lavender, because when it's not organic, it smells like shitty baby powder. And I don't want to smell baby's ass with a little bit of flowers in it. Okay, so we've talked about like every fucking thing, and now probably a lot of people hate us because of our views on vegetarianism, and you should be able to kill yourself.
Sorry.
One of the worst things I see is when people have decided that they're going to be vegetarian because they've seen something that makes their stomach sick, right?
Right.
And then they get something that has a meat thing on it and they take it off because they just can't eat it because the animal. I'm like, my sister did that one time with something that had bacon on it, and I just looked at her, I was like, you are not wasting that animal sacrifice.
Yeah,
and snatched it off her plate.
Another thing I don't understand about is
It's a little rude.
Why do vegetarians have veg hamburgers and veg hot dogs? If I were a vegetarian, I wouldn't want my food to look or taste anything like meat.
Oh, there's a lot of controversy in the vegetarian and vegan world because of that.
Is that okay? So this is not just me.
Yeah. But if it's the flavor, I get it. But honestly, a patty, the ones that are supposed to taste like meat are horrible.
Like the Impossible Burger.
Oh, that. Exactly meat.
Why would you want? I mean,
I was thinking shape and format.
Yeah,
that's a convenient way to eat.
I mean, the ultimate. Yeah, this the prime example is the Impossible Burger. It's like, well, if you don't want to eat meat, because you think
that's for people who want to eat meat, but either feel bad about it or they want to eat more plant-based lifestyle.
Okay.
For like health reasons and stuff like that.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Okay. So, but there is. I talk to people who are vegan, and there's a huge controversy. They're like, "Why are you eating that? You're just getting lunch meat, and it's just like might as well just be meat. You're just reminding yourself all the time."
Right.
So it's really interesting. If you start looking that stuff up, you'll have more philosophy and more fodder for your next album.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what's coming up for Push Button Press?
Good segue.
Do you like my segue?
Great segue. Well, we've got a show on December 27th at West Palm Beach at the Respectables Club. Then in April.
Wait, Respectables Club? They're letting you in?
Yeah, I know, right? Frankie is amazing. Great promoter. The venue is amazing. I've played there a few times. I opened for Throat Kill Cult there one time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was great. And then the big next thing is the Out of the Shadows Festival in Portland, Oregon on April 2nd.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's 6 times, it'll be the number 6 one. And actually a little plug, in letter form, played there at the second version. This is one of my favorite bands of all time.
And you were there for that show? That's
no,
from there?
I wish I was. Oh, I wish.
Okay, so
I
who
wish
else
could've.
playing? Do you know?
I know Sizzy Jix will be playing.
Say it.
Sizzy
Oh, okay.
Jix.
That's the band that I can never figure out how to say because it looks like a bunch of consonants.
Sizzy Jix.
Oh, we had a good
Scissor
time
jokes.
trying out all the different ways.
I always call it scissor sticks because I just look at them like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, you know that band that nobody can say. And everybody seems to know what I'm talking about.
Sizzy
All right,
Jix.
they're gaining popularity.
They are amazing people. I talk to Josh and Luna. We text each other all the time. We're cut-ups.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They're in DC, and they did a remix for me on Spectacle One, and Josh did an amazing job with Meyer in the City.
That means I've listened to it and I don't know which one it is, but I remember the Assemblage 23 of all things.
But yeah,
Whatever.
they did a great remix, and I'm going to hopefully work with them again. I want to do a collaboration, not just a remix. I want to do a song with them.
So, y'all, if you haven't noticed, everybody I talk to has collaborated with somebody else, or multiple somebody else, or they're just putting it everywhere. But a lot of contemporary goth musicians collaborate heavily, like really heavily. Like when I was talking to Lisa Miles, she has played with so many people. When I was talking with Nunn, they have played with so many people. And one of the best things, y'all, if you like a band, go, and if you're looking, I know on Bandcamp you'll see this. Sometimes you'll find it on Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever. I always use Bandcamp because they get paid more, and I know I said that before, I'm going to say it again. But if you go on there, read about the album, because sometimes you'll see those collaborations, right? And you're like, well, what do they have a collaboration? Check out the band they're collaborating with. Because if you like that collaboration song, the chances are very high that you will like the other band that they collaborated with. And actually, it was Sweet William I discovered because that band was mentioned like 3 times within a week. And the thing that reminded me, oh yeah, I want to go listen to him, is I was reading through on one of Nunn's albums, I forget whichever one it is, and it said Oliver from Sweet William. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I've been wanting to listen to that band, and I cannot stop listening to that band.
So I have to check that out.
They've been around for like 30 years in Germany. Oh, you have to.
Okay.
You have to.
Right.
They're really beautiful. I highly recommend Time, because it almost has like a funk sound to it.
Cool.
Oh, hell yeah. And it's one of my more recent discoveries, and I listen to it a lot.
When I was a teenager,
a lot.
my first concert that I ever went to, I went and saw Prince on the Purple Rain tour.
Oh my god.
So that was my first concert ever.
I saw that movie in the theater with my sister. It's like Purple Rain.
So
Purple Rain.
I love funk, and that,
George Clinton.
George Clinton, of course. When I saw Prince up there on the stage, I'm like, I would love to do that, but I would never be that good. And then I heard Joy Division, and I went, wait, I can be at least that good.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, no, post-punk has
but
influences from
hold on,
all
maybe I
genre.
shouldn't have said it be as that good. I can do that. Maybe not as good as that, but I can do that. You see what I mean? That being the difference.
I get it. I get it. When you see
right.
I can do that, yeah, and I would say you're doing quite a good job.
Thank you.
Quite a good job. I liked it.
Shout out to Dave Cantrell from in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be held at the Star Theater, and when I saw pictures of this theater, I immediately texted him back, thanking him, because he made it so much easier to get the band to go, because the theater is just beautiful.
Is it an old one?
It's a great venue. It's amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great
Fantastic.
venue.
Well, the Crowbar I thought was a pretty good venue.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see the Orpheum and then
The
the
Orpheum
castle,
is-
because the castle's famous. I'm sure you've been.
Yeah,
People are all excited about, oh, you're going to the castle, it's going to be the best thing.
I was there the first night it was open.
Well, now you're just fucking bragging.
No.
Yeah, so I'll be going to the castle, so I'll have a tour guide.
Yes.
So we'll probably hang out tonight.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Fun.
We got the group I'm here with, the Obscura, I call them the Obscura Undead people, but like, you probably met all of them. It's
Azzy and
Mouse of Obscura Undead and Communion After Dark. Mouse does Communion After Dark. And then there's DJ Malik.
And DJ Jeff Black.
Right, Jeff Black.
DJ Black.
DJ Black. Okay, I don't know everybody's DJ name and everything name.
And,
there's so many of them, y'all.
Yeah.
And then there's all the rest of us that are there because Cadaver Kelly, YouTube, and then Gothin and Alcove is there, and then I'm
DJ
there.
Winters.
Oh, DJ, I haven't met her yet.
You will.
Okay, well, I thought she was somebody else because of her absolutely perfect hair.
Right.
She has the world's most perfect straight bangs. I'm so jealous.
And then her.
She does.
I know,
She's
right?
always rocked that.
She's fucking
too.
beautiful.
Yeah, and then her even more beautiful husband, Mike Carlton, who is childhood friends with my bass player. They used to skateboard together when they were 12.
So Jim knows everybody.
Not everybody.
He literally knows everybody. Apparently in Tampa, it's Jimpa.
Not quite, but.
Well, you live outside of Tampa now, though, right?
Yeah.
Are you from here originally?
Yeah, I lived
Born
here.
and bred?
I moved here in '85, and in 1985, Ybor City was an abandoned place. There was one nightclub that was open.
Well,
and it was
now it looks a little bit like the French Quarter.
I know, right? and it was just then there was 2 clubs, and you would walk back and forth between the 2 clubs.
Well, that's like Deep Ellum in Dallas used to be like that. There were 3.
And then it slowly built up, and more and more and more and more, and it's just gotten bigger.
Now
and bigger and bigger.
mainstream has overtaken Deep Ellum.
Yeah.
So when you go down there, you're a freak again. You're a freak who gets stared at and yelled at again.
I've been to Dallas.
People in
one
restaurants
time.
can't even handle me in Deep Ellum.
Really?
Yeah, and it used to be you'd go down there and you'd see all the goths and punks and shit down there, and other people were too afraid to go to that neighborhood. And it was just kind of, it was really cool. You could walk around this like little 2-3 block area and be safe. And there were just like a few places. I remember when the Reggae Club was the 5th club that opened up down there in like 1989, maybe 88. And it's just different. Yours has grown in a way that I appreciate more.
Yeah, it used to be pretty seedy down here.
Yeah.
It's really they've built it up a lot.
Well, that's where you can afford to have the underground music.
Right.
That's where punks can afford to go because, you know, I know that in the 80s we have The Cure, we had all these bands
Love
that were
'em.
actually making a living. The
Love
Mission,
'em.
Wayne
Love
Hussey's
'em.
still making a living.
Love
Yeah,
'em.
we love them. They built the genre. You know,
Right.
it's kind of like Bauhaus can never truly be cheesy because they made it.
They made it, right?
It's the same thing with Sisters of Mercy. They can't be trite. They can't be cheesy.
Right.
They can't cliche. That's the word that
Cliche.
people use. They can't be cliche because they fucking invented the
it.
genre.
Right, right.
But and they got famous, you know. But now musicians, it's kind of there's so much music sharing out there. And quite honestly, there's so much good music sharing out there that just getting people to attend the shows enough for y'all to make a living is close to impossible.
It's hard.
It really is. And sometimes it's hard to go to the shows as a person who wants to go to the shows, and I want people to come close to where I live so they can do things, and to know that musicians in this genre that I love and have been loving for however many years, like 30 something. Okay, I'm old. I'm pretty fucking old.
I'm old too.
I remember hearing Ziggy Stardust on the radio,
Oh.
the Bauhaus version.
Oh.
And Love Will Tear Us Apart. I remember hearing on the radio in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 1983. Wow. So, yeah, so old. I mean, I was like 15 or 13 or I don't know how old I was. But the idea that these legends now have to schlep so much. Right. Like with Wayne Hussey, he's out, he's just done that book Salad Days, which I have and haven't read because... Anyway, well, yeah, I've had some of the tunes from it, it's fantastic. But... they were selling autographed pictures. He sold some of his guitars and stuff, and I think it was to support the tour.
Right.
Like Ashton Knight from The Awakening, who I love that they use acoustic guitars. So wonderful. It's like very old school. Had to do fundraisers and pre-sell all this stuff to be able to go on tour. Wow. And I was like, yo, these are our legends that are having to do these shit. Wow. So when you see bands where you know they all have day jobs, and the ones where there might be 1 or 2 musicians that don't because they're in like 3 bands and they're studio musicians.
Right.
And it's kind of disheartening, and that's why I was going to buy the t-shirt because I can afford to do that.
Right.
But if you can't afford to do that, watch them on the official streaming. listen to them on Bandcamp. I'm sorry, everybody has an official YouTube.
Right.
But YouTube is, I don't think there's very many people who are making money off it because they keep changing it.
They keep changing everything.
They keep fucking y'all up.
Yeah.
And it sucks. So I, for one, appreciate that you guys keep doing it for what is actually quite a small return.
But shows like last night, right?
Oh yeah, that was awesome. It was fantastic.
It gives you the boost and the morale to keep going, because when you get that kind of reaction out of a crowd,
Well, those people want to be there. They went to I went to a lot of effort to be here. And y'all were one of the reasons I went to a lot of effort to be here. So, yeah, so we're still out there. Well, thank you for playing and coming. And I had a chauffeur to get here. Darla chauffeured me here. She's in the kitchen. She's hiding, so it's cool. She didn't want to be on camera. She didn't have to.
Yeah, hiding in the kitchen.
We're from the south now. We get a little draw. We're from the south.
Right. So, what is something that you would like to say to your fans? What is advice, whatever, live your life?
Okay, if I have fans.
They have fans, y'all. They have fans. Don't let them act like they don't have any fans. They have at least 3.
Watch out. It's coming. Something big. One of these post-punk bands is going to write a hit.
Yep. I agree.
And I don't know if it's going to be Push Button Press. I'm not saying it's going to be me. I don't know who it's going to be.
I heard at least 7 songs last night that could have been a hit.
But one of them is going to be a genre-defining song. And I think I said something similar to this last night. Sort of like Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, where a movement grew out of
that popular?
But I don't think it's going to be that popular, because nothing could ever be as popular as what grunge did. I don't think that could ever happen again. It happened once, and that was beautiful, and it was wonderful for what it was.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But post-punk is going to do something similar, and watch out for it, because it's coming. That song is coming. That band is coming. We don't know who they are, but when they finally hit, it's going to be big.
Yeah, and there is a lot of kick-ass post-punk out there that is permeating the goth genre. It's mixing with the other things, and I love that the goth genre are mixing.
I like the fact that you can have drummers on stage now and people with drum machines in the same show.
Hell yeah.
Because you couldn't do that 10 years ago.
Yes, that is true. That is true. It was excellent. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jim, the one Push Button Press member who actually showed up.
I showed up.
I'm looking at you other 3. So thank you so much for talking to me.
Of course.
I appreciate it. You're the best.
George.
I told my best friend that you're my new best friend, so I'm sorry, Angela.
I saw the hashtag.
I know.
New best friend hashtag sorry, Angela.
Yes. Well, a lot of stuff that I post on Facebook, all this stuff. I mean, yes, I'm promoting everybody because I've tried to get a clip for Instagram. I try to get a photo for Facebook, and then I'm taking a couple clips. So I'm just like holding up my phone going like this, because I feel like if I can get these bits and pieces, then maybe more people will go to shows. That's what I'm really trying to encourage. But yeah, a lot of what I post, when it's dumb like that, some of that, it's for her.
Oh, and can I say something about YouTube channels like yourself? Like what you're doing?
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
We do watch, and we do pay attention. And what you do is important, and you need to keep doing it, because all of this is going to explode. And when it does, people like yourself and Cadaver Kelly, Obscure Undead, it's going to be you guys taking off. And you're coming along for the ride. So let's all do it together.
That's not my intention.
I know it's not, but that's what's going to happen.
My intention is that this shit didn't fucking exist on YouTube, and I was like, I guess I'm just going to have to do it.
And that's what's going to happen. It's going to be great.
You're the sweetest. Angela, you're in danger. Okay, y'all, so we have Shaky Cam with Jet from Push Button Press, and of course this is going to be edited into the middle of Jim.
Yes, it will be.
And we talked about a lot of Jim's philosophy and lyrics and all that kind of stuff. So, first of all, before I run out of time, because I'm running out of time, what would you like to say to the fans? What advice, whatever, anything you'd like them to know, say?
Oh, follow us, please, follow us. Buy our stuff. We love that. But we really appreciated the feedback that we got and the reception that we got, it was really, really cool. I really, really liked it. It was so much fun. You all were
He's
great.
talking Absolution Fest, y'all.
Oh, Absolution. That's right.
That's right. This is the part of the Push Button Press interview, so all about it.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, okay, this video is going to be terrible.
That's okay. I overslept for the interview, and I felt so bad about it. So I'm like, we got to do something, and I don't care if it's impromptu.
Right. And also now you have to release another album, so I can interview you guys after you do that, and everybody has to show up.
I promise I will.
I know
We'll do that, and we're doing that. We're actually working on that. We're in the studio recording our next 2 songs, and we've already got it lined up. We've got about 4 other songs that are pre-written that we're actually going to be working on. And Jim probably already talked to you about this, didn't he?
You know what? I don't remember. We talked about a lot of shit. Jim is into a lot of shit, man, y'all. A lot of shit. This is pretty interesting.
I know, and it stinks, and it has peanuts too.
Oh my god. Okay. The editing that's going to have to happen to this. But anyway, that's just a brief little bit with Jet because I didn't want to miss you.
I didn't want to miss you either, and I felt so bad.
I mean, I'm going to miss you.
I'll miss you too.
Because I'm about to take off.
I felt so bad about missing the interview with you. I really did. I really felt bad. So I was trying to rush my butt out the door, but you had to go and get ready, and it wasn't going to work.
Well, and
I really got no butt at all anyway, so trying to rush my butt kind of doesn't work for me.
I have enough for both of us. Oh my god.
Everybody, I thank you for your reception. We appreciate you coming. I definitely thank Indoxa Booking and Communion After Dark for inviting us and allowing us to be part of that. We made so many great connections. Definitely, I have to give a shout out to Twin Tribes. I love you guys
God, they're so
much.
sweet, aren't they?
Oh, I love them so much. I had such a great time meeting them. Such nice people and so much fun with them. Micah from Negative Game, too. Great. And of course, I have to give my shout out to Cold Transmissions, Andreas and Susie. I must do that. It must happen. And Twin Tribes. Oh my God. I had to give a shout out to everybody. And I have to give a shout out to you too, Skullgirdle. I sat and watched a whole bunch of stuff when I got home. And I like your interviewing style. I really do. I really do. I do. And that's kind of what I do on Obscure Undead. I try and do something a little bit different. Not like the typicality. I kind of add some. I try and add something different.
Like this ninja in the corner in a room full of people?
Exactly. Oh, but they've got this JX3P. They've got an analog synthesizer. Who cares if he's a midget? I like the equipment. So anyway.
Oh my god. All right, we're signing off. We've already gone crazy. And it's morning. We have not drunk anything. I promise. It doesn't matter anyway.
Got lots of coffee.
I had some earlier. Whatever. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys. And I love you too.
Oh, me too. So hey, thanks for watching. Until next time.